Welcome to Rosberry Crafts, my YouTube channel where I share all my crafty adventures. Today is January 14th, 2022. I still can't get used to that. 2022. Okay, I said it right. It feels weird. It feels weird. I would like to say welcome and hello to all my new subscribers, and welcome back to any returning subscribers. I appreciate you coming back to watch this craziness. My name is Roz, and I live in Lake Country, British Columbia, Canada. I live with my husband and my two kids who are 11 and 10. For today, I have a what am I wearing? Works in progress, next on my needles, stash in review, events, and chatter. So let's get started on this very long episode. Hopefully not too long. Today, quick weather update. It is raining. It has been raining for the last 3 days. So we went from like 2 weeks ago, it was like minus 30, and now it's above zero and all the snow is melting. It's ridiculous. It is actually ridiculous. The only problem is that overnight it's just below zero and all of the water that is currently melting, all the snow is melting and creating sheets of ice. And it is terrible, 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 terrible out there. It's not so bad today because I think it was above zero overnight or just around zero, so there wasn't much ice. But like 2 days ago, yeah, my husband actually scratched the front of the car because he was going sideways down the driveway, even though he was going like 2 kilometers an hour. So, because we have a very steep driveway. If you've watched some of the Vlogmas, you saw me shoveling some of it, and yeah, he scratched the front of the car on the rocks on the edge of our driveway. So that's super. Didn't damage anything, just a scratch, so it'll be fine, but just frustrating. Today is a Friday. The kids are at school. My husband teaches on Fridays, so he is not here. It is a quiet house, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It is a work day, and this is my lunch break, so we'll try to power through this, and hopefully the episode will be up this weekend for you to watch, which is super exciting. First up is, what am I wearing? Today I am wearing the Miranda, and I made this a short sleeve sweater. There are instructions to do short sleeved or mid sleeve or long sleeve, and this pattern is by Jose Pequin, yeah, so this, you can't really see it because I've washed it so much. It's a little bit felted, but it is, I often wear it, as you can see, with like a t-shirt underneath because it's short sleeved, and it's a little bit cropped now, so then I wear a t-shirt underneath to make it just a little bit longer, but it is a great layering piece. I often wear it skiing because it keeps my core nice and warm with the wool, but then I don't get all the extra bulk in my sleeves because then I wear my jacket over top of it and all that kind of stuff. So that is, yeah, it's got this lovely cable detail down the front. You can also put a kangaroo pocket in it where the cables kind of go out at the bottom. I don't think you can see it, but I didn't put the kangaroo pocket in. I was worried about running out of yarn actually, so I did not do any of that. I think there's an option for a hood as well. Lots of options on this sweater. I highly recommend her patterns. Jose Pequin is a prolific designer, and I actually tried this on at Knit City in Vancouver. I want to say in 2016, 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. I can't remember. But I tried on one of her samples, and then I was like, yep, I need to make this sweater. I love it. So it is made out of a worsted weight wool, and this one is made out of an Elan.com wool called Peruvian Highland wool, and it is 100% wool. So it's just wool. I do find that the neck, like where it touches my skin, it is a little scratchy. Like it doesn't bother me, but you're like, yep, I'm wearing wool. So I did knit this in 2017 and finished it in 2018. It took me an entire year for some reason. Actually, I know exactly why. The cables, the cable pattern, I just couldn't read it. I don't know what I was doing at that time in my life. I can't remember now because I did it and it's fine. But I was doing the cables and I think I got lost track, or I don't know. Who knows what happened, but something happened with the cables. I wasn't in the right spot. It wasn't looking right, so I had to rip a bunch of it out, and I just got frustrated, put it aside, and then finished it because I actually do really enjoy wearing this sweater. So there we go. That is my Miranda. I don't think I have anything else to say about that. I do tend to push my shoulders down because I find that it's a bit of a wing on my shoulders, but if I don't think about it, it's fine. So we are going to move right past finished objects because I have none this week, and on to whips. For my first whip this week, I have my Millie Margaret shawl. It's in my rainbow bag. I am making progress, which is the front. This is the front. So I have, this one is tip to tip. So I redid it with the correct size needles, as you will have seen from my last podcast, and I am loving it. So there's all of the stripes, and I am, of course, mid-row like every good podcaster, and I've started I'm trying to hold it up, but it's just all funky on the needles. And I've started the center panel, and I am loving it. It's enough interest that I need to like quickly check where I am in the pattern. So this is a pattern by, I should go over the details. This is the Millie Margaret shawl by Jennifer Lassonde. She does a checklist system within the pattern, so you can just check off when you finish a row and you know exactly where you are, even if you haven't worked on it in a couple weeks. So there is that. I am loving, loving, loving these colors. So yay. Yeah, but this center panel is so cool. So cool. What else? Oh, the yarn. You probably want to know about the yarn. The stripy yarn is a Knit Picks Felici fingering in the Slumber Party colorway. And the center panel is a Knit Picks Stroll, which is also fingering in the Vibrant Violet. So yeah, and I have a whole nother skein, because they're 50 gram skeins, of the Slumber Party to do the other wing. And I think I talked last time about my plans for yarn management to make sure that I end up with the right color so that it's mirrored, and then I have purple on both of the ends. So the darkest color is on both of the ends. We'll see. We'll see how that actually works out. Cross your fingers, everybody. Yeah, but that has not been getting very much love over the past couple weeks. Because I have so many new cast-ons. So many, you guys. So many. The next thing that I'm going to show you is the Mystery Knit Along from Cozy Up Knits. So if you don't want to see, I have finished Clue 1 and Clue 2. So if you don't want to see those, then you're going to have to look away for a little bit. But I put it in my Game of Thrones bag. That's upside down. This bag is huge, which is good because there are 3 balls of the main color and 3, I think they're half skeins of the contrast color. And I got the Ginger Snap Squishy DK set that she was offering in the Katie colorway, which is a teal. So it's medium gray as the main color, dark gray, or I guess it's black, and light gray, and then a teal for the pop of color. Okay, here's your last warning. I'm pulling it out now. So I'm gonna try and show this in sections. Ooh, I cracked my nail off this morning, and now I filed it, but now everything is getting caught in it. Okay, so section 1 was this section. So it started off with this really cool ribbing lace section, scalloped. Oh, I just love it. I could do a whole shawl in that. That was really fun. And then I went to these flowers, which were not my favorite, but they were cool. Different idea. So that was the full of Clue 1. And then we went on to Clue 2, which is this section here. So you get the chunks of the contrast colors. Yeah, I am loving it. Love, love, love it. That's just where I switched yarns. But yeah, so this is clearly going to be a parallelogram kind of wrap style. I don't think we're adding anything on the edges, but maybe. I don't know. It's a mystery. Yeah. So again, this is the Throwing It Back by Cozy Up Knits. Canadians. Ginger Snap, also Canadian. Love to support my local people. So yeah, I got behind on Clue 1, but then got totally caught up. And this week, oh my gosh, my hair is like everywhere in here. So much hair. I wonder if you can hear that. There's planes going overhead and it's super loud because it's so foggy. They have to be like super low. Anyway. For Clue 1, I got a little behind, but this week I had many meetings in the evening for school-related things, and yeah, so I finished off Clue 2, and calling that good for the week. But tomorrow, Clue 3 comes out, so that will be exciting, and what I will work on probably this weekend. I still have 3 more WIPs to talk about. I'm telling you, I cast on so many things. Next up, I have the Dust of Snow. So this I am doing with my advent calendar that I got over, that I opened over Vlogmas. So I just have the first few colors in, but look at that. Woohoo. All right, so this pattern is called Dust of Snow, and it's by Helen Stewart. And yeah, it's got these different kind of sections. She did hers held together with a strand of mohair, like the lace mohair, but I didn't feel like it. The only mohair that I had is black, and I just felt like it would overwash all of this beautiful color, and I really want to see all the beautiful colors, so. I did cast on 2 extra repeats, so 24 extra stitches, and yeah, so that it is wider and I use up more of the yarn, because why not? I have it, yeah. So that's day 1, 2, and 3, and I'm just about done with day 3, and I'll have to wind up day 4. And here are all my advent yarns. I'm keeping them on my lovely thing. So this pinky pink with the orange speckles is the next one to go on, and then this kind of peachy, blushy color. So I am excited to see how this all plays out. Everything feels a little pink. My Millie Margaret shawl is pink and purple. This is pink and purple so far, but this will be the full gamut of colors very soon. And again, my yarn is the Ginger Snap 2021 Advent, and it is a fade, so it will work perfectly. And there's more hair. I have more hair hanging off of here. So I have quite a bit left. This is day 1 was the purple, and day 2, I haven't wound it back into a cake yet, but that's, you know, pretty solid ball there. Left, and I think I only have a few more rows in this one, so quite a bit left on each of them so far, so I'll definitely be able to do something else. Many ideas. Originally I had thought I would do either the Land of Sweets cowl, which is also by Helen Stewart, or the geometry cowl. Recently, there's a sweater that was released called the sea glass pullover. I don't know. I will link it down below along with everything else that I talk about. But basically it is specifically to use up scraps. It is a DK weight sweater, but I could hold this yarn, this leftovers of this, double, and it might work. I don't know. Thoughts for the future. I have so many plans for this year. I need to just work on the multitude of projects that I have going on and all the things that I have, you know, floating in my head. Some of them will bubble up to the surface and become projects. Oh, I needed that. All right, what should we talk about next? Next, we are going to talk about some socks. And these are in my hot chocolate bag, gingerbread, my Christmas bag. I cast on Mike's socks out of the Advent yarn. So for the toe, I used a Knit Pick Stroll in Pine, which is a really dark green. It's like really, really dark green. And yeah, I just did my regular toe. And then this is the top of the foot. I do a 3x1 rib for the top of his foot. And yeah, just working away at that. I thought about doing them 2 at a time, but then I just kept going. So I think that I'm just gonna do them 1 at a time. But yeah, the stripes. So these are actually the opposite direction of what my socks are. So mine, I started with this red and the light green at the cuff and worked down, and these I am going to work up. I am going to use this dark green, this pine color for the for a section of the heel and then the cuff, just to make it because he likes them super tall. So yeah. And the Advent yarn is the Cozy Knitter in her 2021 Advent colorway. So yeah. The pattern that I'm going to be using for the heel is the one that he really likes, that I make for most of the rest of my family because they like how it fits. And it is called Vanilla is the New Black by Annie Fletcher. And I'm using the toe up version, which I think is actually called Vanilla Reversed. But so it's a ribbed heel, but there is a section of it on the bottom of the foot where you do some back and forth, and that's where I put in that dark green so that you still see the stripes all the way up the foot. Although it probably wouldn't matter if I just kept on doing it with this yarn, so he wouldn't care. I would care. So yeah, those are his socks, working away on those. That's kind of my mindless knitting when I just need something to work on. And the last project that I have is a tiny little piece so far. That is all that I have so far. I'm going to pull out the yarn so you can see this beautiful color. So this is Knit Picks in their gloss fingering in the Kanai colorway. So this is a 70% merino wool, 30% silk. It is fingering weight, but yeah, that 30% silk just makes it so divine. I love it. So that is going to be the Star Shower by Hilary Smith Calais? I don't know. I'm terrible at names. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that is a cowl pattern, and it's partially knit flat, partially in the round. I hope I'm not giving away too much. But it is a cowl, and but it's big enough that you could kind of pull it over your shoulders, or you can just have it draping in front of you. So I'm excited to have that style of cowl. Clearly I haven't made that much progress yet, but I did want to cast it on. I think at the beginning there's quite a few, there's just some tricky instructions where I have to pay attention. They're not tricky hard, you just have to pay attention. So I kind of need to focus when I'm working on that, and I haven't had that much time to do that. So it's not really meeting conducive knitting. And that's kind of all I've been doing this week, it feels like. And driving kids around. All right, so that is it for works in progress. Moving on to next on my needles. So next on my needles, as I was mentioning before, I have many plans floating around in my head. But my daughter, Taylor, who you have seen on the podcast a few times, is turning 11 in November. So 11 is significant in the world of Harry Potter. That is when you get your letter and you get to go to Hogwarts. And you become magical, or you get to practice your magic more and more. So, and that is when Harry understood that he was a wizard, and yeah, so it's an important birthday. We're big into Harry Potter here. Basically, though, so when my son turned 11, I knit him a sweater from the series. So Mrs. Weasley is one of the characters, and she becomes a very motherly figure and knits Harry a Christmas sweater every year with his initial on the front. Well, I think the first year was that, and then other sweaters. But so I am going to be making a Mrs. Weasley sweater for Taylor, and it will be in her house colors. So it's a deep, rich burgundy with like a golden, the letter will be in like a golden color. I will link the pattern because I have the book, one of the Harry Potter knitting pattern books, and the yarn that I'm using I got from Yarn Canada, and I've never ordered from them before. I've looked at their stuff lots, but I've never ordered from them before. And honestly, I can't remember which yarn I ordered for that sweater. I know it's burgundy and like I think it's called cornflower or golden, something like that. Anyway, I will tell you all about it probably next podcast because it's due to arrive next week. So we will talk about that more once I get that yarn. But I don't do well when I have pressure knitting, so I want to make sure I get this cast on and most of it knit so that I can just finish it up and put it away so that for her birthday, it's just ready. It's just done, and I don't have to stress knit. Stress knit, no fun. While I was ordering things on Yarn Canada, I have been wanting to make a sweater for me called Hinterland, and that actually lines up really well with the Northern Knits podcast is hosting their 5-year anniversary knit along in the first part of this year. And the theme is wood, and there are trees on the sweater, so it totally works. So yeah, so I ordered purple for the main color, and then like a, it's just a bare yarn, like a natural kind of creamy color for the colorwork. So I'm gonna knit myself another colorwork sweater. Oh dear, because I need to cast on more things like sweaters and all of the things that I have going so far. That'll be good though, because I can get the color work done, and then it is just around and around and around for the body and the sleeves, and you know, it'll be good. It's not an all over color work, so I think I will enjoy that. So that is also next on my needles because I need more things to work on. Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, so that is it for next on my needles, and we'll move on to stash. All right, so for stash, last year I had a goal to use up more of my yarn than I purchased or got given, received into my stash. So it's called more out than in, and I'm going to review all of that and my accomplishments for 2021. So first of all, we'll start with what did I actually knit. I knit 6 sweaters. 6! Oh my gosh. So I knit 2 for Taylor, 1 for Cooper, and 3 for myself. 3! It's craziness. Well, and 1 sweater for a stuffy, but I didn't count that. So, technically 7, but that little one doesn't count. I knit 2 pairs of fingerless mitts. I knit 11 hats, 5 pairs of socks, some of which were started in 2020, but I finished them in 2021, so I'm counting it. I knit 4 cowls and I knit 1 shawl. So the total meters for all of that is 10,407 meters. So I think that I did pretty good. My average for other years has been between like 7 and 8, so I definitely am above average. So I did pretty good on getting use out of the things that I either brought in or use up some of my stash. So I did good that way. At the end of the year, sorry, I'm trying to look at my computer, but my thing is really, okay. So I did have a goal that I wanted to reach for the end of 2021. I did not meet that goal. So at the beginning of 2021, every January, I do a toss the stash and I sort everything out. I take everything out of the bag, decide whether I want to still knit with it. Most years I just keep everything, most things. I kind of organize I have a couple bags of just like bits and bobs and kind of reorganize everything, ball it all back up as it's become unballed, kind of put things together, like all the fingering weight in one spot, all the worsted in one spot, that kind of stuff. You get the idea. So at the beginning of 2021, I'm looking at my computer, which is down here. I had 69,652.3 meters, okay? So at the end of 2021, I had 69,311.58 meters. So I am down. My goal was to get to 62,000. I did not meet that goal, but I'm still happy that I am moving in the right direction. I think I was, for the most part, a lot more conscious of yarn that I purchased for a specific reason, something that like I bought yarn specifically for Cooper's Harry Potter sweater because I needed the right colors in the right weight, and he loves it and he wears it all the time and it's great. So I think that I was just more conscious of purchasing yarn for the right reasons and not just going out on a whim and purchasing a bunch of stuff. So that was good. I was down, which I didn't meet my goal, but I am happy with it. I am also, the amount of skeins that I have in my stash went from 348 to 329. So definitely moving in the right direction on that, and using up some old stash like that Star Shower. I've had that Knit Pick stash for a long time, and the rest of it's all new stuff. New and shiny, but I definitely have some plans to knit some new stuff and to use up some of my old stuff. I really want to knit more socks this year. I think that most of my family, I've gotten their sock pattern down, and so I can just like bust out a bunch of different pairs of socks this year. Yeah, and I want to knit myself more sweaters because I'm always cold and I like to put on a sweater. Sweaters. So that's where I'm starting the year. I did do a kind of quick inventory. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my thing. So I did a quick inventory of what I actually had in my stash, and I have updated numbers for January. I don't know. So what happens like through the year, sometimes I count like those little bits of extra and sometimes I don't. So every January when I do my toss of the stash, I update all of the numbers. I weigh everything that's a partial skein just to make sure my Ravelry is up to date. So my numbers starting for January of 2022 are 69,428.15. So not much off of what I had thought I had at the end of the year. So, but that's okay. I still have 4 skeins of lace weight. I have 17 skeins of light fingering. I have 157 of fingering weight, 15 of sport, 27 and a half of DK, almost 50 of worsted, 30 Aran, 11 bulky, and 15 super bulky, which surprises me as I never knit with those, but maybe they've just been sitting for a long time. So there you go. That is the breakdown of all of my stash. I do have some videos that I'm gonna put in at the end. They're a bit more vlog style where I just kind of show you some of the stuff that I was doing when I was tossing my stash, and I actually moved it into my own craft room. So now my office downstairs is gonna be my office / craft room. That is kind of a year-long plan, and I'll be getting some new cabinets for in there when I can find them and when ordering is available again. They're still working on repairing the highway between here and Vancouver, so lots of places that don't deliver essential items like cabinets are just like, yep, we'll deal with this once the highway's fixed. So it might not be for a few months that I get that, which is fine. I understand. What else did I want to talk about? My bingo card. So I'm just gonna pull it up so I can look at it here. So I posted on Instagram my crafty bingo card for the year. So I have 24 things. It's a 5x5 square, and then there's a free space in the middle, and you try to make a bingo, like a line any direction. Lots of people try for like a blackout. You know, it's just a way to write down your goals and kind of track whether you've completed them or not. So I have reorganized my stash, knit my Advent yarn shawl, which I am currently knitting, a sweater for Taylor, a Baby Yoda toy, which is being gifted to another family, the Cozy Up Knits Mystery Knit Along, knit some headbands for the hot tub. When it was really cold out, like -30, sitting in the hot tub, my ears got really cold. But then if I wore a toque, my head would get really warm because all the heat is being kept in. So I want to knit some headbands to have for the hot tub so that our ears stay warm, but we don't overheat. I want to use a pattern from a BIPOC designer. I want to knit a cowl. I'm going to knit 12 gnomes this year. I think I finalized my plans on that. So Imagine Landscapes, who is a podcast, an audio podcast. Sometimes they do some YouTube lives. You should definitely check them out. They're Canadian as well. And sisters that talk about their knitting and board games and D&D and so much fun stuff. So one of the sisters is a knitwear designer, and she has knit and designed a variety of gnomes, 12 to be in fact, and is hosting a year-long knit along, and you can knit like one gnome a month, or you can knit just one gnome in 1 month, or however you want to do it. You can submit for prizes. You can just join the chatter because it's fun. It's very casual. So I think I'm going to knit one style of gnome, but knit one a month, and then I have 12 by Christmas. That's my plan. Knit a sweater, knit some Xmas decor, or that might be craft some, I'm not sure exactly, but I just think it would be cool to have some more little knitted items for the tree. The Self-Indulgent Cowl by the Yarniacs. So that's the star shower that I'm doing, and I will talk more about that in events. And the Northern Knits podcast, Potiversary Cowl, knit some socks for Mike, socks for me, hat, mitts for Cooper, a cardigan, the Pixel socks, which I showed you the yarn before, knit a Musselburgh, something summer-ish, DK socks, something color work, and another cowl, because I can have too many cowls. I love them. So that is my crafty bingo card. I have also done a bingo card for my personal goals, but I'm not going to share that here. But if you're interested, you can message me and I'll send it to you. It's just things like go for a kayak, or, get outside every day, and lots of that kind of drink water, and I don't know, that kind of stuff. So we'll keep that elsewhere in the podcast. We'll just talk about crafty stuff here. So that's my bingo card, and I think that's everything I wanted to talk about in that, and we're moving on to events. All right, so for events, I have 3 events that I'm currently participating in. I guess technically 4, but the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party is still going on until the first weekend in February, which is the Super Bowl, and then we have till the Mondays to submit everything. So all of the projects that I'm working on right now are all qualify for that knit along, so I've got a lot of work to do over the next month. You can find all the information for that on the Down Cellar Studio website, which I will link down below. There's also a Ravelry group where you can chit chat about lots of different things, and it's super fun. Next is the Northern Knits podcast, their 5-year anniversary knit along. So that is coming still. I decided on what I'm going to do, and I doubt that I will finish it, but I'm going to participate in some way. And the last one is the Yarniacs podcast. Every year at this time, they host the Self-Indulgent Knit Along. So this is something that you knit just for yourself that is indulgent. So that is my star shower with the silk yarn, and it's something I've been dreaming about doing for a while. And, it's something just for me. I'm knitting something that I want because I like wearing cowls, and I am going to enjoy every moment of it. So that is that one. And then the last one is the Cozy Up Mystery Knit Along, which I talked about in WIPs. So that is that. That is a lot. That's a lot of things going on. So that's it for events, and we're going to move on to chatter. It's time for the chatter. I don't know what happened to the last few weeks. I can't even remember what day I podcasted last. I think it was in December still. So, and we're at the 14th, so that's like 2 weeks ago, give or take. But I have quite a few clips for you at the end of this video on different things that we have been doing around here. I have the reorganization of my office space, which is ongoing, and I will show you along the way all the different things that I do. Like I talked about the cabinets that I'm getting. So I'm getting those IKEA cabinets with the glass doors. So it's shelving. They're like a bookcase kind of style, but has glass doors on the front so you can see all the beautiful yarn and fabric and everything that I have. I'm going to get some baskets to put in there because I'm sure I'll have, there's notions and things that I just don't want like just sitting on a shelf. Smaller things that'll go in some nice baskets. Hopefully some of the baskets that I have already will fit in there. So there'll be lots of organization going on in there. And then my desk is going to move to a different position. I've got my sewing table in there, which is underneath the window. It's going to be great. So my sewing table, I have a sewing machine that sits like built into it. And then I also have one that just sits on top of it, depending on which one I want to use. It's like one of those ones that like folds away and stuff. But then it's got the fold out arm for the big table on the one side, so you can have all your fabric and all your stuff, and it's going to be so great to have everything in its own space where I can kind of do that. It's also going to be kind of my little workout area once the clutter is out of there. I am doing yoga in there right now, but I do bump into things, so we'll keep working on that. So yeah, that's reorganizing my craft room / office. I reorganized the spice drawer in my kitchen because I was so frustrated. Every time I went to look for something, I had to take all of the spices out to find it. So I videoed that. My husband helped me with that. Luckily, he is very good at putting on stickers. And we've been doing some puzzles, which is really nice. So we have our dining room table. It's called the Transformer table. It's from Costco. Well, it's not from Costco, but we got ours at Costco. And basically it is a rectangular table, and you can add up to 5 leaves and make it like super, super long. And then it's got a bench for the other side, which you can also put leaves in, and it's super awesome. I love it. But sometimes we make it extra long so we can still eat dinner at one end and then have a puzzle going at the other end. So we had one puzzle of a duck, and now we're working on our Game of Thrones puzzle, which I will put a progress picture in. We have been knocking that thing out of the park. So yeah, so that's been super fun. The kids have been playing D&D, which is really fun because then I get to I just sit next to them and knit and help them when they need it. But it's really cool to see them just exploring that, like how to create a character and how does that character going to behave and all that kind of fun stuff. And they're really getting into it, especially my son Cooper. He is like super into it. He wants to figure everything out. He wants to, do the adventure. He is fully committed to it. So it's super fun to hang out with them and do that. And they are doing that over Zoom with some friends, which is also really cool that we have the technology to do that. So their friends are in Vernon, which is only half an hour away, and Vancouver, which is like 4 hours away. So it's a nice way for them to connect with their friends that they don't necessarily get to see all that often. So that is super awesome as well. Over the last couple weeks, we had so much snow. I keep looking out the window because there's snow out there. We had so much snow and it was so cold and it just felt like we were shoveling like 3 times a day all week. And now it's raining and it's all melted away. It's so weird. It's so weird. But I did have in my notes that there was so much snow because I don't think we've ever had that much snow at this time of year. It's crazy. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is I have been doing yoga every morning. I've been very diligent about most days. When I get up in the morning, I do like 30 minutes of yoga. And I've been following the Yoga with Adrienne. She's on YouTube here. She does like a 30-day challenge every January where she posts a new video every day. And they're beginner, but not introductory. So you have to kind of know some of the positions. She does help you along the way, kind of get settled into different things and trying different things, but you kind of have to know some of the basics in order to get started, or watch some of her other videos, or just dive in and try your best. But I really enjoy her personality, the way she talks about things. She's very realistic. She's use the breath and all of that kind of stuff, which is really good, a good reminder, but she's also real, and sometimes she forgets the left and right and whatever, because we're all human and that's cool. So I really enjoy her stuff. She has a huge following, so it's not surprising. And so I've been very good about doing that. I'm not completely caught up. I did give myself 2 days off. So I got my COVID booster last week, and last week on Friday I got it, or Friday I got it, and then I gave myself the weekend off because I was just tired. I was fine, like I didn't feel sick or anything like that. I was just really tired, and you know what? I was just like gonna give myself some grace, and And then this week I got a massage on Wednesday, and Thursday morning when I woke up, I was so much in pain. I know that it's a means to an end, but so my rib cage has been kind of mangled for quite a while now, and she really got in there, which was good because I know it's going to be fixed and I can do more stretching and be more loosey-goosey, but also it really hurt. So I didn't do any yoga Thursday morning, so I've got a few days to catch up on. I caught up some this week, but I'll catch up on the rest this weekend and get back on track with that. So I'm being gentle with myself, but also trying to make sure that I do this as many days as possible and don't fall off the bandwagon. And that's kind of like a year-long thing that I have, where I want to do something where I just move my body every day. It doesn't have to be something strenuous. It doesn't have to be a CrossFit workout where I'm lifting weights and doing all the rest of it. I just want to do something where I move my body every day, whether it's a walk or yoga or stretching by myself or whatever. That's my goal. It's a good goal. So that is it for today. I'm going to sign off now, and I hope you guys have a great week, and hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be able to record again next Friday, and you will see all of the progress on all of the projects that I have, and maybe new yarn. We'll see. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye. So I've decided to redo all my spices, which are in all of these random different things, into these beautiful jars. And I have my label maker out, make labels, and then they are all going to go into this drawer, which I now need to clean out. The spice cupboard has been reclaimed. So those are my oils that we use for cooking, and the black pepper, which needs the grinder. And then these are all just extra containers of spice that we have. I put all of our baking, cooking accoutrement spoons and stuff in the one drawer instead of two drawers, so it's harder to find, but they are all labeled. I'm so excited. I love a good organization. All right, so this is my new office slash craft room that I'm going to be setting up over the next probably couple months because I don't have the cabinets I want yet. IKEA won't deliver to Kelowna yet because of the road, washing out, kind of important stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tour of all of the stuff. I have a lot of it in boxes and bins right now because I don't have everything kind of set up how I want to, and I don't want to spend too much time setting it up in the cabinets that I do have, because then I'm just going to put it into the cabinets that I'm going to get. So there you are. That's my quick intro into this. And so basically on this side of the room I have all of my yarn and knitting related notions and stuff like that. You're currently perched on my sewing table, which is where my sewing machines will go. And then I have my office desk over here. And then this, as you can see, is just full of stuff. So I'm just gonna tidy up as much as I can, put things away as much as I can so that I can move my work desk over to this side. Yeah. So, but also I need to work at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I need to clean up enough so that I can get to my desk, and also sort stuff enough so I feel like I'm just putting away stuff that I know I'm gonna keep, and we'll have a good inventory of everything that I have. So I'm sure I will show you stuff along the way, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so this is my bins. All my knitting stuff and my office desk, and this is a closet, tripping over things, that we've covered the mirrors in pictures, old pictures, so that's super fun. And there's some blocking mats. These black bins both are full of yarn. The white bin on the very bottom is full of fabric stuff. There's shells and shadow boxes, 2 sewing machines, plus all the plugs. My serger, I think, is still out in the closet. So, and then these are, the blue one has random stuff in it, and this one is full of fabric and sewing related projects. This is something I knit for Taylor, but it's too narrow for her now, so I'm gonna steek it. Even though it's acrylic, I'm gonna give it a shot. If not, whatever. And then yeah, I've got other fabrics to make some tablecloths and stuff. So I just found my old embroidery stuff. This is cross stitch, but it's all embroidery floss in a giant pile. I'm sure it's planning something there, and a couple hoops. I'm sure there's more stuff in there, stuff that I've half started. This one's almost finished, and yeah, found that. I thought that was gone the way of the dodo, so yay! Also in the back of my old sewing cabinet is all this ribbon and, like, that's elastic, but all these weird zippers and all sorts of fun stuff and patterns. Okay, so it is many hours later, and I took all of my yarn out of this cabinet, which is where I used to keep, or usually keep, all of my yarn, and double checked that it is all in Ravelry with the correct amounts, and yeah, and kind of sorted it all back kind of together with its partners of yarn or yarn ideas, things I want to do with it, so it's all together in one spot. It is really kind of higgledy-piggledy in there. Some of it's in bags, some of it's not. In my new cabinets, there will be glass doors on them, so I won't be keeping my yarn in bags as much, unless I really feel like I want to keep them together somehow. Yeah, and then I have kind of my bins of notions and bags, and like my yarn bowl is down there, a little crochet kit, which is not on Ravelry, polyfill, which you always need, straight needles, there's patterns, and more plastic bags there. So all of my yarn fit in there except for this one bin, which has all of my like super bulky stuff in it. So, and I really wanted to keep this out. This is Sweet Fiber Canadian, and this is Breakwater, and I think about this one so often. I really want to knit with something with it soon. Let me take this down. Those bins are all of my sewing bins stuff. This one's just empty, this random scraps and some fabric, and I will really have to go through this when I do everything. But I've got both my sewing machines and my serger, which I have never used. They're on my lovely antique sewing desk. I don't think it's going to live there. I think it will be more underneath the window eventually. And then I've got my printer and my office stuff. Did put up a couple pictures, kind of fun things on the walls for right now. As you can see, it's super dark outside. And my kids when they were little. It's fun stuff. Going back around, this is a specific project. This one here, where's my finger? There we go. This here is all shells and shadow boxes, so I want to put all my shell collections from when I was a kid in there, and then I have some random filing and other stuff that I have to get done. So that is everything I have done for the craft room, and there's my lovely family. Oh, they were so little at one point. Now they are 10 and 11, so it's a little different. Anyway, so I think I've probably spent enough time in this room for one day, and I'm able to work at my desk tomorrow, so that is good. And we will talk to you guys again another time. I hope you enjoyed this craft room tour.